The difference between tonight and last week, folks, is that we didn't have a playoff win. Now we have a playoff win. And it's shitty weather tomorrow, obviously, because, MLB. Well, actually, no, I can't blame that on my MLB, but I can blame them for not postponing the game early. But nonetheless, welcome back to the Twinbill podcast brought to you by NyynewsTV. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. I don't have off. Actually, no, I do have off from school tomorrow, so I'll definitely be staying up to like 4 in the morning getting this posted on there. So be sure to check it out. All the good stuff. Anyway, we're going to talk game 1, game 2, and then also maybe a little bit of Aroldis Chapman since we're only on once a week, even though it's kind of a moot point. Luca, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good after game 1. Gerrit Cole really proved me wrong yesterday after the homer. He left. He started to put a couple base runners on, and that's where I started to get the feeling that he was going to implode. But he handled adversity well. He got through his mistakes, and he pitched fine the rest of the way, and that's all we ask out of him. And the Yankees gave him some solid run support. Can't be mad with yesterday's win whatsoever. It's good tone setter for the series.
Definitely. And we'll definitely get into that. So shouts, I'm going to do my usual shout outs for the chat. Anthony Medina, Matt Stolk, Scott Wright, Hirsch, Tony, Tyler, Yankee Greats, Zach Brownish, Philo as well. So thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, questions are always welcome.
Hit the like button too, by the way.
Hit the like button. Yeah, questions are always welcome. We're definitely going to need them in this show. Luca, and yes, Tyler, I did see the Braves and the Phils are tied at 0. Personally, I'm hoping for the Braves to prevail in that series. I don't like Philly fans. I don't like Philly teams. And there's also shout out to Eric Wallace. What's going on, my man? The Mariners fan. Hopefully your Mariners bounce back a little. I mean,
yeah, my thoughts on that strategy real quick. I think the Mariners tried to outsmart everybody with the whole, starting pitcher coming in to close with Robbie Ray. Ridiculous, especially facing one of the league's best hitters in Yordan Alvarez with 2 men on, the game-winning run. And he proceeds to give up a 3-run homer.
Wasn't it, and I know this is a totally different thing, but wasn't it yesterday as well, Yordan Alvarez threw somebody out from the outfield?
Yes, I think he did.
Yankee Great says, why didn't Cole pitch a 1-hit shutout? LOL. I mean, he wasn't that good yesterday. He obviously wasn't that good yesterday. But anyone who comes, by the way, I must give one shout out. Shout out to also Matt Doucette, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, of course. I must say, shout outs to the person who watched last week. And then, first of all, I'm not Luca. Second of all, it's St. Francis, Joe. Okay, St. Francis College. Shout out to the person who was watching last week behind the scenes and decided to go make a Twitter account based on Yankee takes and ran
bad Yankee takes. Remember, guys, just remember this. If you have a Twitter account, I know most of you don't. That's probably the better decision. Bad Yankee takes on Twitter.
Yeah, but basically, if you don't know the story, is someone was watching our podcast last week, and that's 99.9% because obviously we mentioned it, and they wouldn't have just got it from some video they just saw on their fucking feed. But anyway, shouts to them for wasting their time. Not that I care about it because Twitter's Twitter. Twitter isn't real life.
Of course.
Anyway, shouts to LV Shore. What is going on? Why did they throw Clay in there? I guess they kind of have to move forward with him as the closer, and we'll definitely talk about the bullpen over the course of this show. We are at 34 people, 17 likes. Let's get those likes up. But even though we're going to talk mostly positive on this podcast, which, we should, in all honesty. Luca, your thoughts? Once again, we're only on once a week, so this is why we're going through the motions. Thoughts on Aroldis Chapman basically quitting on the team. And if you didn't hear what happened, Luca, with Brian Cashman and him, I'll be glad to inform you.
Scumbag, loser, terrible human being. What other words we can use to describe him? Choker, playoff choker. I don't. It's addition by subtraction, essentially. Good for the Yankees. They're holding him accountable. I guess you could, give props to that. But Aroldis Chapman was just he. I don't know. You know what? I do know. He's a terrible human. All the adjectives I described him with, terrible human being, choker, playoff choker, all those different adjectives, all describe him perfectly. The Yankees are better off without him, and we can move forward peacefully because this is his last year in the contract, and he'll be gone after this year. Hopefully, Cashman does not make that mistake, which I don't think he will. Knowing the end of what Chapman's tenures look like, that he'll resign him. So,
yeah, I mean, I kind of said it before the season.
let me ask this: what were you going to detail?
Cashman was screaming at him on the phone.
Really?
According to, now this is, I'm going to pull up Bobby Malone's tweet here because it's Twitter. Bobby Malone. Okay, because I'm pretty sure he's got this from some sort of article. It's not Cabrera. There's a detail somewhere stuck in here. No, not this. No, not that. Oh God, it's somewhere here. I really have to look, don't I? I want to say it was okay. I believe this is yep. So here is the piece. I believe this is from the article from NJ.com that presents. And I don't think he wrote this article, but this is from our good old friend, or at least Pete's best friend that he wanted to bring on the channel, but didn't really succeed with it, Brendan Cunty. Of course, that's all joke, people, for that, the ones who are new. This is one of the pieces, one of the, little quotes, excerpts. Following the Yankees regular season finale last Wednesday in Arlington, Florida, Chapman returned to Florida. I totally bad reading.
English.
Yes, I know, but I'm usually hard on myself when I don't read a sentence, correctly. But anyway, Chapman returned to Florida to spend Thursday's off day at home. The Yankees scheduled a mandatory workout for Friday, one in which Chapman was scheduled to throw a bullpen. Chapman skipped the workout after getting the word he could be possibly left off the playoff roster, which was likely due to off and on season-long struggles. That led to a phone call from GM Brian Cashman, who screamed at Cashman over the phone and fined him $10,000, according to a source. Later, manager Aaron Boone talked to Chapman on the phone and told him to stay in Florida. I mean,
that means he's not committed to team ball. He can enjoy his $18 million for the rest of the year. I don't care.
No one ever not showed up for Cashman. Also, shouts to Jose Gregorio Jimenez Ramones. But yeah. So Scott Wright said it wouldn't shock me if he got a low budget team offering a 1-year deal. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's going to be that one team that goes out and signs him, but I mean, I said at the beginning of the offseason, try to find a way to trade him, even if you have to eat some money. That didn't happen. He had some season-long struggles, and we are where we are. And we're still trying to figure out this closer position.
Of course.
I should harp on it a huge ton, but Chapman's not a team ball player. He's an asshole. Good riddance. Someone said it, and I agree with this. His first kind of tenure in pinstripes was the better.
Of course. It was it was like half a year with Andrew Miller and Del Matanzas, and Chapman looked unhittable. Then his arm got used up in Chicago because he was that dominant. And, Madden had him pitch like almost every inning in the later games. And I think once he gave up that game-tying home run to Rajai Davis, he was never the same.
Yeah. Matt Doucette says, also, if the Yankees are winning, people are still going to be calling for Cashman's head. If they win the World Series, it's going to be less. But if they don't win the World Series, they don't make it as far, I'll definitely call for Cashman's head. I don't care. I mean, what have we gotten to this point like in the last few years? I mean, this is kind of a repeated thing over and over again. Even Castro does. Oh my God, Hirsch. Even Castro doesn't
I
want
just read
Chapman.
that comment.
I was like, wait, what did he mean by that? Then I read into it, and then Pete's like, LOL. I'm like, oh shit. Um, but yeah, I wouldn't blame him in that aspect. But anyway, again, final thoughts on it before we move to game one.
Um, you know, I think we just pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's an old story. Chapman's going to be gone at the end of the year, so there's no worries. Alex takes a sip of his water.
Hey, listen, man. I got like 4 water bottles here. That lasts me a whole entire show. Because I like my mouth not dry. Anyway, apparently Machado just hit a home run. Let's see what the score in that Dodgers game is.
Yeah, that's right, because the Dodgers just outlasted the Padres yesterday. They couldn't hit him. They couldn't hit Urias till like the mid innings.
Yeah, so Hirsch says 2 things need to happen. One, the Yankees need to win the World Series, and Judge needs to resign. Yeah.
I was just going to say this. What else is new? Kershaw giving up a home run in the postseason.
Yeah. No, you have a good point there. But we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, I'm not gonna jump off the bridge or run through a wall because his team wins or loses a few games. But let's go to game one. Luca, general first thoughts. Maybe other than
The
Gerrit
Yankees did well before we break everything down. The Yankees just essentially did what they needed to do. I thought at the start of the game, Gerrit Cole was being worked a lot despite pitching well. Obviously, the third inning he gives up the homer, and there's a couple of base runners after that. He overcomes the adversity there, overcomes mistakes, gets out of the inning, pitches well, and then he was straight line there forward. Awesome pitching, but I think if I had to make a little miscue, not a little miscue, a little critique of the Yankees and how they, approached, I'm sorry, what's his name? Cal Quantrill. I think they should have, not taken him out sooner, but they should have worked his count a little bit more as the Guardians were working Gerrit Cole.
I felt like they did that. And we'll touch.
They did it towards the back half of his
Yes.
appearance.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Joe's making some jokes in the chat. He goes, Alex doesn't like his dry mouth. LMAO.
Oh no.
Yeah, of course. Shoutouts to Adam in the chat. What's going on? Matthew Doucette says, who would you not want to see in the ALCS? Well, I don't want to see the Astros. Okay. I don't want to see the Mariners, but it's gonna be one of those teams. It's not like they're gonna take some random ass team from God knows where, and we're gonna face
Listen,
them.
I want the Astros and I want to beat the Astros, but I don't think we can do it as of right now. We'll see what happens. We're still in the division series. We still have 2 more games to win. So again, that's a topic for hopefully next week's show. Maybe if MLB gets it right, we play games 2 and 3. Maybe hopefully it's a sweep. I don't think it will be a sweep, but we'll see.
I think we could match with the Mariners. I don't necessarily disagree with your point, but I think we can match up with the Astros. It's just that the outcome is going to be different, in my opinion, than with the Mariners.
The weaker matchup is the Yankee offense versus the Astros pitching, not the Astros offense versus the Yankee pitching.
So Joe says, I heard TBS lowered the crowd noise. Didn't seem like the crowd was dead. We were indeed not dead. No, I mean, listen, playoff atmosphere at Yankee Stadium is always going to be different than the regular
And listen, I like Bob Costas a lot. I'm sorry to interrupt, Alex, but he felt like he had to get every point he had in. Like he was dominating the broadcast and okay.
Luca, you have to be aware that he has not done a game since 1904. Okay. He's lived a long time.
Again, I like Costas, but he's dominating the entire broadcast. He's not letting Ron Darling get a whole minute of conversation in.
Yeah, I agree with Pete. Joe is at this stadium like he fucking lives there.
No,
that would be a hell of a
100%.
lot. That'd be a hell of a lot of rent. Just to say that. But apparently Joe thinks I'm drunk tonight. How am I drunk? But anyway, I was talking about the crowd noise, and I do want to get to Costas in a second before we move on. No, I thought, like, I heard everyone in the background think they were chanting some stuff when Miles Straw was up, which fuck Miles Straw,
Of
big
course.
pussy, stupid. I'm still trying to get blocked by him, but that feat has not been achieved yet. We will keep you updated with everything along those
I
lines.
think he's kind of learned from that experience.
Well, I still don't like him for it, so
No,
he can
I don't
fuck
blame
off.
you.
He can fuck
Fuck
off.
off.
Thinks he's fucking Ron Artest going into the stands. I don't care.
Oh,
What
wait, hold on. I got a quote. Yesterday, Yankee from Miles Straw himself. Yankee fans got personal in ALDS loss.
I didn't know that Boston fans, Philly fans don't get personal when they try to taunt you. What do they say? Oh, hey, Miles, you're not good at baseball. No, they'll tell you to go fuck your mother. That's what it's going to be. So I don't get like, and
This is
maybe
what you
it's
get for
right
playing
to
in a
some.
small market. What the Cleveland plays on a very shoestring budget, which represents that they're in a small market.
So I guess he was playing in right field. Or was
Center.
he playing his center? Because I'm looking at Joe's comment. They said they were yelling his wife's name in right field. I'd be yelling his wife's name. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, Alex is that violent.
I
Not that I
no,
would. Not that I
just
wouldn't be either.
I'm people are surprised by me. People will only judge me online, but Mama Rosina's kind of says something else to it. It has a different
Jeez.
tang to the story. Even some people notice, oh, I've changed since I've met Pete. Donald and Matt Riley, the ones who said that. We were doing asshole chants. I got some video of it. I would definitely do asshole chants. I just, once again, I don't necessarily have the budget to spend on a Yankee playoff ticket right now, but if somehow I got in the hands of one, I would definitely go. Because that, once again, one day it's gonna happen when I'm at Yankee Stadium for a playoff game. Ray says, "Let's go Yankees." You're fucking right with that one, Ray. Adam says, "Didn't Straw make the last out?" Yep, he flew out to Harrison Bader in center field, who had a very good game for the Yankees, very instrumental towards their comeback. So let's talk about Gerrit Cole to start off the takeaways for ALDS game one. And he was in a little bit of a funk in that, what was it, the third inning when he gave up the home run to Stephen Kwan. And people started to wonder, like myself, here we fucking go again, because I think he ended up walking a few, giving up.
Yeah, the thing is with Gerrit Cole, he gives up homers. Home runs is his biggest enemy. Whether it usually comes in the form of solo homers, which was exactly the case with Kwan. So luckily it was just, one home run. But then, as you said, the bases began to get clogged. Cole seemed pressed, and then he got out of it. Donaldson fielded a ball, he threw it to the plate for the fielder's choice, and then he struck out. Cole struck out the next batter. That's what I mean. I listen, I was on here with Pete on game season when the Angels played the Yankees in Anaheim, and
I was at a concert that night.
Yeah. And Cole gave up, it was an IKF error for one. Then it was a base hit given up by Cole or a walk, and then a 2-0 pitch to Ohtani, hit to center field, home run. And then me and Pete are ranting, and then this idiot IKF sucks comes in the chat and starts calling us Cole haters. Listen, for the record, not that I need to
Nobody's
certify.
no other.
No.
If I'm gonna say this right now, and Twitter thinks differently, I don't care. I don't consider myself a Cole hater. I don't consider anyone who critiques Cole inside the fan base. I don't call them Cole haters. I call them Cole critiquers, because that's what you're supposed to do. If IKF sucks, we say, okay, well, you know what? He sucks because of this. Cole, it wasn't pitching to, his standard at different points in the year. We're commending him, obviously, for this. And, people might say, well, do you take back what you said about Gerrit Cole? Not really, because that would be, and now obviously people who watch football will get the reference a little bit, and then some will be like, well, why are you comparing him to a certain player? Well, let's just talk about, a different sport for a second, and we'll jump back in the same pool.
Right.
Daniel Jones obviously has been an inconsistent quarterback for the New York Giants, whether it's injuries, offensive production, inconsistencies, scheme, whatever. So he hasn't been 6th overall pick worthy, which is why Giant fans are weary of him. They really don't like him. But Daniel Jones showed out on Sunday versus the Green Bay Packers. And he also showed out last year against the Saints and a couple other games over the last 2 years. And if someone was to ask me, listen, do you take back what you said about Daniel Jones? I'd be like, no, because those feelings were right in the moment. Like
every in my opinion, every take has an expiration date on it, but you're not wrong for having that take in the moment because it made sense, unless it was a stupid take and this and this or whatever. But obviously, we had all of us. I know Christian's a huge Gerrit Cole fan, obviously one of our colleagues for the NyynewsTV podcast, but he's also he's a Cole critique or whatever you want to call it. He critiques Gerrit Cole because he knows he's really talented, and that's the same for us. We know he's dominant when he's on his game. It's just sometimes he just folds in the moment, and that's what he didn't do yesterday. He didn't fold in the moment. He gave up the home run, a few base runners, okay, and he didn't let his mistakes get to the best of him. And he just dominated with the way through. Everything was moving great. The fastball was there.
I loved his knuckle curve.
Yeah, it was sharp. It was sharp movement, sharp break on it.
Just like Trevino for calling a game too.
Yeah, Trevino always calls a solid game. Better than most, actually.
Yeah. Shout outs to Wayne J in the chat. He goes, he was the straw man we needed. Elvie says, if we win 11 games, I'll get a Daniel Jones jersey, slowly winning me over. Hey, listen, we talk. I'm going to shout myself out for a second before I read some of the other comments as well. Go subscribe to Big Blue in the Bronx. I just read my notification on my phone that somebody else subscribed who is a follower of mine on Twitter. Go subscribe. We talk a lot of Giants there. One of my podcast episodes that debuted on Tuesday. It's over 200 views. I break down the Packers game in a lot of different facets, and every week we have a guest from the opposing side. Like on Friday when I record, I'll have a Ravens writer on just to tell us about the Ravens and what they do. So go subscribe to Big Blue in the Bronx. Yankees there too, and a lot of other different shit. Ray says he agrees on the knuckle curve. I like LV's comment going back to it. And then Hirsch says, Alex, I got to give you credit. You believed in DJ and the Giants from the summer. Yes, we did have a conversation a little bit at Somerset. And I said, he could get better under Dable's scheme and everything like that. And you know what? We're 4-1 now.
Did you shout out Brad in the chat, by the way?
Oh, yeah. Shouts to Brad. He says I hate Cole. I do not hate Gerrit Cole. Alex looks like he found the nerd stash. In terms of like me wearing a nerdy shirt or like nerds is in the candy. That's what I want to know. Scott says I don't take back anything I said about Gerrit Cole because the sample size of his frustrating performances still outweighs dominant performances. Yes. And you know what? I have to wait one more game in my personal narrative, in my personal atmosphere, whatever in my head, to actually say, look, Gerrit Cole has proved me wrong. Now, obviously, he proved me wrong in this start. I really didn't think he was going to have any trouble against the Guardians. But when it comes to the Astros, that's going to be a different atmosphere. It's going to be a totally different thing. But, yeah. So Gerrit Cole, very dominant, 8 Ks, 1 earned run, 6 and the third innings pitched, 4 hits. I like they brought him out for the 7th inning and then they went to the bullpen. But I really don't get this thing, and maybe this is just you could call it a critique, but it irks me the way they do things with like, oh, they're going to take a pitcher out with 2 outs.
Listen, I don't know. That's how the Yankees manage them. It is what it is, but I think Christian made a good point. He made a take on Twitter. He said, if IKF starts making plays behind Cole, I think Cole goes 8 innings possibly, and he saves the bullpen a lot of energy.
Right.
Not that the bullpen had to get a lot of outs. I know Loizaga damn it. See, this is what happens. Not when Loizaga had to
his fucking camera again. You can never keep your camera on a fucking angle, can you?
Yeah. Damn it.
Oh my god, he's fumbling. He's He's bobbling the camera like IKF bobbles a baseball.
Of course, it's like the first inning. Anyways, what I was saying was Loizaga struggled yesterday, but Wandy got through the lineup very nicely. So you have that. Nothing else to complain about in terms of the bullpen. But again, as I said, they didn't need to get many outs.
Anyway, shouts to Yankee Kyle in the chat. What's going on? Freddie Freeman has tied the game with a home run, I'm presuming. So it's now 1-1. Eric says that the Indians are not an issue. The Astros will legit get in our way. That's absolutely correct, man.
Especially that they have home field advantage. Again, I spoke about this on Boys in the Gamble, with the whole.
Gamble.
But I just actually just thought of this. Do you want to bring up the Yankee hype video?
You can give your thoughts on it. I mean,
do you think that's a moot point?
If you brought it up, you might as well fucking say your piece.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan. Listen, everybody's going to creep their hype videos in the postseason and all, but I don't know. I was in agreement with our co-host on Monday when he said this was kind of a smack in the face to the fans. And knowing the person who created it is a huge Yankee homer and a Yankee lifer, and will never say anything bad about the Yankees. But again, it's like your friend being in it. It's again, I'm not trying to, shed a negative light on this. Maybe I am. It's like your best friend being an alcoholic, but it's wrong what they're doing, and you don't want to criticize them because you think it's wrong to criticize their lifestyle, and their life is their life, and you don't know what it's like to be them.
LV says my heart dropped every time the ball went in IKF's direction. What was it? The first inning he made an error?
First inning, second
I literally screamed. I said, "Come on, you fucking asshole!" Something like that. I mean, you didn't necessarily yell like I did, but I was fucking mad. I was pretty fucking.
Of course,
mad.
I was mad too.
But that's just to finish it off. Gerrit Cole had a pretty dominant start. IKF had a mixed night, and we were told in our group chat that Aaron Boone was the one who made that final decision, putting Marwin Gonzalez.
Well, he is
over
an
Peraza.
idiot.
Now, here's the thing I'm gonna contrast that with, and I'm not disagreeing with you, but who says that Peraza starts at shortstop? Who says that he starts at shortstop? If he gets on the roster,
I doubt he does, in my opinion.
Exactly. Like no, I mean, I totally agree with everybody's point. He should be on the roster of this because Marwin literally has no value to this team. With, Oswaldo Cabrera being a better version of him.
Yeah.
But Gonzalez is on the roster. I think he should play shortstop next game. It's not going to happen though, because the Yankees have doubled down on that. But IKF, I mean, he's right. He grinds my gears.
Of course.
You'd think IKF is fielding hot potatoes the way he fields.
But you're missing a key point. The broadcast said he was a Gold Glover at short. He was good at shortstop.
Yeah, Bob Costa said he was a good shortstop. I'm like, Bob, what are you smoking right now?
It's one of those things where they're national guys and they don't watch the Yankees every single day. Even then, they have to shed a positive light.
Their producers ought to do a better fucking job, honestly.
Well, I'm not TBS, so I wouldn't know that.
Adam says the right kid on Atlanta looks like Maddox tonight.
Kyle Wright.
As I said, I'm always pulling for Atlanta. I know my Mets fan friend John doesn't want Atlanta to win. He wants the Phillies to win. But I said, hey.
That's like the lesser of two evils for him.
Oh, yeah, because he's a Mets fan. Too bad. Playing the Trumpets down, what was it? 7-4? Something like that? What were they down?
4-0.
4-0.
Playing the 4-0. It's not even the point that they play the Trumpets because some blue check mark Twitter, account said, "Oh, the Yankees played Enter Sandman when they were down 10-3 in the 9th against the Red Sox in Game 7 of the championship series." But you didn't have mascots, doing this and dancing and doing that. You just look embarrassing to do that. I also think it's funny that Williams Contreras has that as his entry song when he comes up to the plate.
Wow. Okay. So, Luca, if you're such a smartass, why don't you get your trombone and play it for us?
I'm gonna play Narco on my trombone. How much sense does that make?
No, it makes perfect sense.
Should I do that for a live podcast next time?
If we got to make some sort of a bet, we got to make some sort of a bet.
How about
How
this?
about
If the
this?
All right,
Okay,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, you go ahead. Yeah, I
All
was gonna
right.
say if the Yankees lose the division series.
Okay, so you make that bet. If the Yankees win the World Series, you play that.
All right.
Now you could still go through with your thing, but Brad says Alex loves IKF. He didn't lose his virginity just so IKF could hit home runs.
Pleasure over power.
Pleasure over power, the once retired saying. Well, now it is retired. But I guess it's better for the Yankees, maybe. I want to be wrong. Not really. In that case, because I didn't get my cherry popped. I don't know. But Brad's always doing
Yes.
stuff. But any final thoughts on IKF before we talk about somebody else?
Just I didn't listen. I wanted Peraza to be on the roster. I knew he wouldn't be on the roster, but I think Aaron Boone is trying to pull wool over our eyes by what he says about IKF, and he's always had a high opinion of IKF despite bad play, which makes no sense. But I don't think Aaron Boone.
Well, he was a top 2 shortstop, right?
I don't think whatsoever he is a baseball man.
Well, we'll see going into these playoffs. Let's see how the Yankees do and how far they go, and then we could judge fully whether he's a baseball man or not. Let's talk about Harrison Bader. I must say, Aaron Hicks should never step. Not like we didn't have this opinion before, but Aaron Hicks should never step on the field again because of how great.
First of all, I do not care about his home run in the American League Championship Series 3 years ago. I don't care. Keep Harrison Bader on the field.
What's that quote? And I haven't, because when I was in class, I actually discovered what, the whole thing with Harrison Bader. What did he say in the press conference? Everybody's gagging over.
Everybody's gagging over. I know his dad
gagging, but
I know his dad's. He said his dad was a Yankee fan, so it was like an honor for obviously to play in the uniform and hit a home run as his first Yankee.
I don't know. Maybe someone will find it out for me, but he's been such a godsend for the Yankees. Eric the Red 06 says can't stand Michael K right now in his big head. Always quick to shit on Yankee fans. I mean, personally, I like when he calls games to a certain extent. I thought he did the Cardinals game really well outside of his realm. There are times where I just think Michael K is a fucking idiot.
I think he's a company. Let's be real, everybody. He's a company man. He's gonna say what the Yankees tell him to say. That's some. I'll be honest with you. That's something Francesa kind of got right. Even though Michael K flipped on him for saying that, but because Francesa said back like 6+ years ago. You're talking 2014. He's like, it's like the Yankees direct the narrative of what the agenda for what Michael K in his Yankee segments are. The Yankees direct that, and they put that on paper and they tell Michael to say it. I don't think that's 100% true, but I do think Francesa's whole point was right, and Michael K's like, oh, I do criticize the Yankees, but no.
Yeah,
most people know he's a phony.
Well, depends who you talk to, of course. G-Men 4-1 says, well, I like your title there, G-Men, because I'm a Giants fan myself. Better than the Jets. Schedule is so dog shit. Are you talking about the schedule in terms of postseason schedule? Because I kind of would agree, because we should be playing tonight. We're gonna have to play an afternoon game on Friday, which sucks ass. Well, I'll be in school then. If that's actually the case, I'll be fucking pissed, because I'll be in school then, and then I'm trying to hang out with my friends. One who's coming back from the military, so I would like to see my friend who I haven't seen in 6 months. Anyone have an idea for tomorrow's game? I was gonna respond to your comment earlier, Edwin. They have not called it yet, so
You can blame me. This is Major League Baseball at its finest, everybody. This is why the sport is dying.
Shit.
This is why the sport is dying. This is why every other sport's just racing ahead.
Yeah. Michael K is arrogant and pompous. I can't stand the man.
Of course. Yep. 100% arrogant.
Kenneth
And I'll
You
be
were
honest,
saying?
I used to watch their show from like 2018 about the beginning of 2020. And I think once, well, Kay obviously loves himself, but I think their whole show and just Kay in general got, his head got bigger was, when they started to get higher in the rankings when it comes to like WFAN versus ESPN, like Francesa would top out and then Kay would top out. When Kay was consistently at number one and his show was at number one, his head just grew fucking bigger. And he's always the guy to call out the fans. He's always that guy because he has no passion for them. He doesn't understand them. He doesn't empathize with them. He does. It's not like he gets your point of view. He will like. "Ah, blah, blah, blah." That's what I feel is. "Ah, blah, 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 blah." Because
Interesting
I think,
comment there.
yeah, that's what he does. And it's not to the Yankee fans he does it to. I think he did it to Jet fans when they wanted Gase fired in the first year, but he should have been fired in the first year. Obviously the second year, whatever. That's a whole moot point. But he's like,
No,
"Ah,
I
blah, blah,
mean,
blah, blah."
I think I stopped watching the K show, and we'll move on from this. Obviously, I know someone was talking about Darth Vader, which he's Darth Vader.
Darth
Um,
Vader. I like that name.
yeah, I stopped watching the K show in 2020 because it just felt like less attractive to watch them inside their basements. And
Yeah.
listen, we're inside our basements because we don't have a studio.
How
We
long did
haven't
it
there
take
yet.
him to get out of their fucking basement into the studio after
They
COVID?
don't even do it on a consistent basis. But then again, I started becoming a content creator and, I was into the Yankees more and I kind of understood what stuff was going on. And then I was a Giants. I am a Giants fan, but I started making content for the Giants and I started realizing, with this, and this, as you get closer to your team as a content creator, you kind of realize, wow, some of these sports takes are bullshit.
Like
Like today,
ESPN.
with Kimberly Martin, but that's a whole different fucking ballgame.
Again, the reason we do podcasts on here is put our face on the platform, say what you want to say, but it's also genuine. These hot takes that come out from like ESPN, Fox, whatever, Colin Cowherd, whoever, they're tone deaf to the fans. Even the fucking beat writers for the Yankees are, first of all, they're horrible at what they do. I personally think my writing would be fucking better because I'd call out every member of this organization, but that's not the point right now. They are all tone deaf. They do not get what the fans are saying. The problem is with like journalism and what these people say. They say Yankee fans say this, but they're not actually a Yankee fan. This guy says this. That guy says that. Like, you're not in the person's shoes, so you have no right to fucking say that at all.
Let me ask you a question. What did you think of Josh Donaldson out on the basis of, that home run situation?
I think it was fucking stupid, personally.
Why?
Because, first of all, yeah, that, he thought it was a homer, whatever. You got to fucking hustle, dude. Stop showboating. Stop thinking it's a home run and hustle. Maybe if you weren't so stupid on the base paths, you'd be safe at first. Maybe we created another run or something like that. But no, that's not the first time he's done it this year. He's been thrown out multiple times on the base path because he's constantly showboating around the bases. Cool. You hit a ball to the outfield and back to the wall that could possibly be a home run. He pulled a Timo Perez. So no excuse for bad base running whatsoever.
And he hasn't been told stop doing that.
No, he's not being held accountable.
But yeah, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit. Oswaldo Cabrera really didn't do that well. Now, fielding, he made the plays he did. I'm not too concerned, honestly.
No, I'm not either. It's his postseason debut. I'm going to relax.
Playoff game, he had 2 strikeouts and 3 at-bats. Someone who surprised me that didn't do well, and now Rizzo did well, right? He hit the 2-run homer that broke the game open in the 6th, advanced 4-1. Someone who didn't do well, and they didn't really have, I wouldn't say a good approach, but like swing-wise, everything, right. And we're going to do this again. You know what we're going to do, right?
Oh, no, he's going to bring out the bat. I'm scared.
Yes, everything was just like a Josh Donaldson swing. Everything was up. Everything was up.
There's no line drives.
Not line drive. I'm not talking about Donaldson. I'm talking about Gleyber Torres. He's got a very good stat line in the playoffs. He's known to be really good in the playoffs. I'm just really shocked that he didn't necessarily have the right start yesterday. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I'm shocked as too. I'm shocked too. Did he get a hit yesterday? He did by what you're saying, right?
No, 0 for 3.
I'm
He didn't
shocked,
strike out, which is, that okay, but
but
still not very good.
Alex, you got to understand, hitting into a double play is worse in this modern day era. But anyways, not the point. I'm not too concerned. We'll see how Gleyber Torres progresses through the series. It's all a 1 game sample size, so
Yeah, definitely throw out your questions, guys. Yankees, playoffs, all that stuff. Eric says, "Yeah, I hope really Boone speak. I hope Boone speaks to these guys and tells them to hustle, quit staring at fly balls when they're just barely over the wall." Yeah, I mean, listen, if it was just one time yesterday, I'd say,
of
okay, well,
course,
Josh Donaldson just mistaked it. You know, other than that, let me just look at something else. Yeah, other than that, and then the one other hit, Josh Donaldson's got to step it up a little bit. And he's a veteran. It's not like he's some rookie who's a hot shot, Fernando Tatis or something like that. He's a vet.
yeah.
He needs to show us a little bit more to say, okay, well, you can have these things once in a while. But also shout outs to Pete Mancuso. He said Boone is a wimp. Boone is many things.
He's soft.
Well, he's, as I said, I know we're shining a tad of negative light, even though it's kind of realism and our thoughts, because we're not going to give you takes that, we're agreeing with the general crowd, but we're just giving you our thoughts because, yeah, we're being real and all that stuff. But I do feel as the game went on, one thing Donaldson did really well towards, I think it was like the third, fourth inning, and Stanton did well too, is they took pitches from Quantrill, which upped his
They
pitch
were more
count.
disciplined.
Right. But guess what kind of took that away?
What was that?
IKF's double play.
That's right.
I want to say it was after
Fucking
Bader's
right.
home run, right?
It had to. Well, Bader was batting 9th yesterday, so it might have to be like the inning after, or possibly 2 innings after.
Yeah. Okay. So you might be right along the lines. Good question by LV. And this is something I talked about on Monday's Boys in the Big Apple, and I said it could be one of two things. Do y'all like Judge leading off? Here's the thing with that. So he didn't do very well. It's pretty obvious. He didn't do well in his postseason debut, and I know a lot of people are going to, fault him for that. Whatever. 3 strikeouts, 1 walk, and so 4 plate appearances. It can either hurt him or it can absolutely help him, because if you have guys behind you of Rizzo and Torres and Stanton, they're all hitting well, right? Rizzo was the only productive one when you look at the top 4. And then the bottom of the lineup honestly did just a tad better if you're looking at statistics. But it can either help him or hurt him. Now, going into the Astros series, if we do get there, you're going to have to find some protection because they will pitch around him better than the Guardians will. I know Judge has some success going back to the regular season against the Astros. And I know we're looking way ahead when we've only won 1 game, but eventually you're going to have to find protection. LeMahieu, there's no point in bringing him back. He's got a fractured foot.
I like how I'm just going to add this in. I like how the Yankees just played it off like it was nothing. He was. What was the word Aaron Boone used for him? He was
compromised.
Too compromised. They knew he had a foot fracture and still played him, huh? Puzzling.
Yeah, it is puzzling a little bit. Carpenter, doesn't he have a foot fracture as well? Or do they feel he's better enough?
Let me ask you this stupid question. That's right. Carpenter is back on the postseason roster. Yeah, he might have had a foot injury.
I know, because he hit a ball off his foot, and that's how he got hurt.
Yeah.
Max Muncy gives the Dodgers a 2-1 lead. I want to see how Joey Gallo on the playoff roster? Probably, right? I find that interesting.
Let me check the Dodger. Let me check it out. Yeah, by the way, he broke his foot, meaning Matt Carpenter.
Yeah, so I was right. Muncy gives the Dodgers a 2-1 lead. Yeah, I mean, he's been weird over the last few years, like him and Bellinger. And I'm not talking about Daniel Bellinger. I'm talking about Cody Bellinger.
Joey Gallo is on the roster.
Okay, so he'll probably be. Is he in the lineup tonight?
The answer is Is Joey Gallo in the lineup? He is not.
Okay, so that's a good decision right there. Anthony Medina says JD did wrong, but Boone still defends him. And it's not the first time he's defending JD for not hustling or pimping out a home run. Yeah, I mean, someone mentioned Cano used to do it. JD's no better. But back to the question, and I'm going to ask you this as well, kind of shift it over to you. As I said, right now we're kind of coasting through it because we are facing real pitching. It's just that they don't really have an offense to compete. They scored one run
once
against
you get
Cole.
out Quan Gonzalez and Jose Ramirez, it's the breeze.
Yeah. So your thoughts on the Judge leadoff? You think he needs more protection? What's the story?
I think he's got to be placed lower than you ordered. The Yankees have to find some sort of leadoff hitter. Judge isn't that table setter. He's going to drive guys in with the runners on base. That's how he is. He needs that, obviously, that base around him.
Yeah. Do you think now? I know obviously this question is very controversial. Do you think that IKF could serve as a temporary leadoff hitter? Because we have no leadoff hitter. I mean, it could be Bader, but are you really putting him up there?
I'm not a huge fan, honestly. Maybe Oswaldo Cabrera, possibly.
Okay.
It gives you
I would let him get a little hot first, like get your first 2 hits in the playoffs, and then we could talk.
Yeah, because it kind of gives you that lefty right, like the versatility in terms of like lefty righty stuff, like a little more balance.
Yeah.
You have Cabrera, you could do Judge, then you could do maybe like Rizzo, Stanton, and then Torres. Then you can find another lefty if you have like Carpenter, stuff like that.
So Pete Mancuso says Judge should bat third if he hits first. He gets pitched to totally different than someone who bats third. That's definitely correct. And I heard some Braves fan told me earlier in the season that batting order doesn't matter, which is completely irrelevant. It's bullshit. That's some analytical geek. Adam says stay of the night. Judge 62 homers, Gallo 56. It's no surprise. Joey Gallo sucks as a ball player. I've never supported that type of I think you meant stat of the night. I've never supported that type of ball player, that type of hitting.
Play style.
And, when he got traded here, obviously it's such a moot point at, this stage in the year, but I never supported him coming here. Bullpen was a tad shaky outside of Wandy. Clay Holmes, I think he hit one of the batters, got some guys on, 1 or 2 maybe. What was it? The guy before Wandy, Loizaga. Where are you in terms of trusting this bullpen? 1 to 5. 5, you really trust them. 1, you don't.
It depends on the arm, honestly. Like Wandy, I like a lot. He shut down the game yesterday. Clay Holmes is was it Wandy who shut that game? No, I don't think it was. You obviously have Clay Holmes, and I don't trust him. I don't trust Jonathan Loizaga completely, but I think he does a good job for the most part.
Yeah. What was I going to say?
I'm interested to see how they use Jameson Taillon because we did hear that he was warming up in the pen yesterday.
Yeah. They're obviously going to use him as some sort of bullpen guy. Maybe if I just find it interesting because you'll have Sevy for game 3, and then they'll probably flip it back to Cole. That's just a 3-man rotation. So Taillon probably is a guy to eat innings.
That's a good point. Like they used Andrew Heaney last year.
Yeah.
Thank God he did not pitch in the postseason.
But they just, once again, they need to be smart with the arms they put in. Like 3 guys I could trust right now, maybe 1 guy like 50-50. Trevino, Schmidt, and Peralta. Yeah, everyone else gives me the shits. Like Castro, absolutely.
What about Trevino?
I'd said Trevino.
Okay.
Trevino, trust.
Sucks that F. Ross is now on the now he's going to get Tommy John.
How did we not find that out? Like, I don't. Did he?
Yankees love to sweep injuries under the rug.
When was the last time he pitched?
Did
he pitch in that Texas series?
I want to say he did, though. All right, I'm going to find his stats. There? I'm going to find out his stats.
Okay.
He was obviously on the IL for us at a certain time. Last 7 games. I'm gonna look at his game log here. All right, I gotta scroll down because it's giving me May, June, July, August, September, October 3rd.
So he did pitch in that series. Okay. Maybe that's where he hurt his elbow, but you
Yeah.
know, hopefully F. Ross comes back healthy. Now let me ask
Yankees
you.
have him for a good couple of years.
Okay, so they got a lot of control. Now let me ask you this. I don't want too much talk about this. Not that I'm scared about negative feedback, whatever. What do you think of the fact that Benintendi, F. Ross, and Montas are all injured in their deadline acquisitions?
Well, Montas was injury prone. He had arm issues prior. F. Ross had arm issues prior as well, to my belief, from what I heard. Benintendi, not as much. But, it just says something like Brian Cashman, sometimes is fixated on picking up these injured guys, not because they're injured, but he values certain guys, but he overlooks their injury history. That's a problem. Jameson Taillon was one of them. Corey Kluber, James Paxton. You can go on and on and on. That's just a remaining problem. And I don't expect him to change that.
Shout outs to LI Yankee King. What is going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Tyler says he injured himself during live batting practice. Explains a lot. I think we could start moving into game 2 as the final subject of the show. Nestor Cortez versus Shane Bieber. Luca, if you want to quickly look at their regular season stats just to give us a little bit of a preview.
So we are going to start off as I load this up. It's going to take me a bit. I'm going to start off with Nestor Cortez's stats. For the Yankees,
staff still.
Cortez, all-star pitcher, arguably the Yankees' best starting pitcher throughout the regular season. This year, a record of 12-4 with a 2.44 ERA, 163 strikeouts in 158 innings in 28 games started. Batting average against 189. With that, let's see, as I said, 158 innings pitched. Ground out to fly out 0.62, whip of 0.92. So he's been awesome. Strikeouts per 9 innings, 9.27. Walks per 9 innings, 2.16. Less than a homer per 9 innings. On base percentage, on base percentage 241. Slugging 313. Strikeouts per walk 4.29. There's nothing bad about those stats whatsoever. And he's, again, you said it, I say it. He's one of those rare pitchers nowadays who sincerely relies off his off speed. He's not overpowering.
Spitball pitcher like Zach Greinke is.
Rich Hill
is another one. You could pile up some names. So there's that. Let's see. Shane Bieber, if you're going to give us that stuff.
Yes, so we are going to look at Shane Bieber actually pitched really well against the Rays, so I'm going to pull up his stats right here. Bieber pitched in game 1. Was it game 1? Yeah, game 1 of the American League Wild Card Series versus the Tampa Rays. So I'm going to get his first stats on the season. 13-8 with a 2.88 ERA, 31 games started, 198 strikeouts, 200 innings, 1.04 whip. You also have a 230 opposing average, groundouts to flyouts 1.19, opposing on base percentage 266, opposing slugging 347, opposing OPS 613, strikeouts per 9 innings 8.91, which is a little less than Nestor Cortez. Hits per 9 innings 7.74, 5.50 strikeouts to walk, which is higher than Cortez, and 1.62 walks per 9 innings. So he's a less of a walk rate guy. So I'm going to get you his game log right now. In the game against the Tampa Bay Rays, why is it not showing up? This is interesting. So Rays versus Guardians. Obviously, the Guardians won that series. So I'm just trying to stand by everybody. I'm just trying to look at.
I have it. All right. I have it. Because I'm better than Luca at getting stats. Anyway, 1-0, 1.17 ERA, 1 game, 7.2 innings pitched, 3 hits, 1 home run given up, Total, did I mention strikeouts already? He had 8 strikeouts. So there's that. And he also faced the Yankees in the wild card game, the wild card game. 2020. He gave up a total of 7 earned runs, 2 home runs, 7 strikeouts. So postseason wise, he's not very good against the Yankees. I would expect some of that to come to light, and that was in Cleveland. So just be aware of that. And now he's coming to Yankee Stadium. So I would expect the Yankees offense to rise up a little bit against Shane Bieber. Luke obviously brought you his stats on the year. Hirsch, did Montas kill Damer? LOL, because Hirsch says
Dahmer.
Montas gave what?
Dahmer.
Well, all right. Anyway, going back to what I was gonna say, Nestor's first start in the playoffs. Luca, how many innings do you think he needs to go with the fact that none of us, even though fans really don't have an input, the fact that we really don't trust the bullpen?
I'm thinking he has to go at least 6.
Okay.
In my eyes.
Do you have like a pitch count?
I'm going to go 6 innings, like around 95 pitches.
Okay. All right.
Take off the handcuffs with him.
All right. I'm gonna go 90 pitches. Yeah, 6 innings does it about. Bieber against the Rays, because the Rays are not doing very good, so made them look better. Yeah, of course. So Tyler says 6 innings. Obviously, we'll get some feedback from the chat. Luca, who's a player in your opinion, and you better not steal mine? Who is a player that you're looking for to step up on the offense? Shouts to MH in the chat. What's up, man?
I'm looking for. I'm thinking Aaron Judge is going to have a bounce back game.
Okay. My player looks like you were going to say something. No,
I pointed to you. I said, "Who's your player?"
well, I was taking a drink. No, MH knows. Trust me, Anthony. MH knows. I'm going to say Gleyber Torres. Like, he's the one I've mostly harped on. He's got some really good postseason numbers. I think he did really well in 2020, at least if I remember statistically, against the Cleveland Guardians, Indians.
Yeah, but that year, that year was kind of an anomaly.
Here we go with the anomaly and the mantra and all those different words. But anyway, he's got good postseason numbers. And knowing that Shane Bieber looked better against a really bad offense in the Rays, take him to town. Take him to town.
Work his pitch count.
And show us why you should be here next year. Because we all have been saying, and I know some people have teeter-tottered, I still want Gleyber traded. Because also as well, you do have to factor in LeMahieu. Let me ask you this. Would you trade LeMahieu in the offseason and try to move him?
No.
Still with these foot injuries, you're still not going to move him.
If Anthony Rizzo opts out for some reason, you put LeMahieu at first base, even though I personally want Josh Bell.
Mm-hmm. For the record, Luca, Josh Bell sucked against the Mets. Did you know that?
He hit a home run in game 1.
That's one. I'm just telling you what I saw, okay? So that's the type of hitter you're going to get. Anyway, for the record, I went through 3 water bottles in the course of an hour. So I'm probably going to have to piss like a racehorse within the next few minutes. You said Aaron Judge. I said Gleyber Torres. What was I going to say? If the game happens tomorrow, I'll be fine with 6. If it's rained out and we get in a situation where there's no off days, I might get greedy and hope he goes 7+. Yeah, I mean, what was it? Let's say if they play Friday, right? Which is most likely going to happen. They still have that Saturday game in Cleveland. Yeah. So, situation gets a little hairy there. Also, fuck Miles Straw. I thought, we should end with that.
Fuck
Luca,
Miles Straw.
Final thoughts.
Listen, my biggest hope right now is maybe when we get on this podcast next, hopefully we are out of this division series in a good way where we're moving on to the championship series, but I don't think the Guardians are going to take the Yankees lightly. I don't think any Yankee fan should take the Guardians lightly. I think they're going to stick around for at least one game in this series. I think they're going to win one. So my final prediction, as I said, is going to be a 3-1 series win for the Yankees. But in my hopes, I think we have the ability to sweep them. But hopefully by the time we're on next week, we will be talking Yankees versus AL in the ALCS versus their opponent, most likely the Astros.
Yeah. Pete says Rizzo will opt out if Judge doesn't sign. Yeah, they do. Those two have a really close relationship, but be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on that post notification bell. I know Pete's going live with a lot of these playoff games, including the Yankees, of course. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, not for just for our podcast, but Spitters and NyynewsTV. Subscribe to my channel, Big Blue in the Bronx. Obviously, we'll be doing some live streams and different stuff over the course of the next few days. So if you want to get more extensive about the Giants, you can join me on my channel, Big Blue in the Bronx. All that good stuff. The division series will be over by the time we have our podcast next week. I just don't know what the championship series calendar is going to look like. So we could either be talking about, yay, the Yankees have advanced, or fuck, we're a first round out. So anyway, great stuff from Gerrit Cole. Let's go get Cleveland. Peace, guys. Go Yankees. See you later.
Later.
Before it hits the front